I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is your daily sports podcast here on a Wednesday. What will we get into today? Well, there's more drama on Slick Rick. The momentum is growing for Slick Rick. Grandfather quarterback back in the NFL. Rainier Beach show that I witnessed last night. We'll have Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish coming up. And, of course, we conclude every show with, hey, what the puck. We come via the Limback Lumber Studios. Without their support, Limback Lumber, we could not do this award-winning, and I don't know if it's award-winning, but you know what I'm trying to get at, a show every single day for you. Give them a call at 206-782-3487. Visit them at limbacklumber.com. They also want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and they would like to say, if you can, please support your local food bank during this holiday season. You find the one closest to you and help out. Anything works. And Paul and the crew over there just say a little goes a long way. You can follow me on Pucks on social media, Puck Sports everywhere except for TikTok. It's Puck_sports. And please go visit pucksports.com. There you can sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. We give you access to everything. It supports the Daily Puck Drop and all our great guests. Plus, we give you bonus shows every single week, like today's visit Ryan Divish, Inside Pitch, tomorrow with Mitch Levy, KJ Arntz. Last week, we had the latest sports bit come out, and also we caught up with Tim Brando of Fox Sports. All right, here he is. Rick Neuheisel's personal chauffeur. In fact, if there's one person that Jim Moore would leave his beautiful, talented, gorgeous, successful wife behind, and that would be the great Kathy Moore. He would leave Kathy Moore today if Rick Neuheisel told Jim Moore, I'll take your hand in marriage. In fact, Jim has even told people close to him, his two sons, great kids, Mikey and Stevie, if I could guarantee that Rick Neuheisel would be the coach today at Washington State, I would sleep with him. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Jim Moore, the go-to guy. Brought to you by
everybody else that you introduce, everyone else. God, the legendary, the great John Canzano and Danny Kelly from The Ringer. Oh, my God, Danny, thanks for joining us. Ryan Divish, extra innings. And, here's Mike Garafolo. God, Mike, thank you so much. We're honored to have you. And me, it's
Michael Sean Dugas.
I've been with you the longest, and yet it's like, oh, my God, he wants to sleep with Rick Neuheisel. What will it be Friday? It'll be something else.
Could be.
Yeah, okay. How you doing,
I think it does beg the question, and answer this honestly. If you could guarantee he'd be the coach, would you sleep with him?
Jesus. No.
Okay.
No. I'm answering that honestly.
Well, Cougar football I thought was important to Jim, but apparently it is not.
Now, if you said Brett Vegan, maybe. Okay.
Oh,
no, okay.
I would.
Hey, listen,
I'd take it for Vegan.
All right. Speaking of the Cougs, you know how good I was at hosting, and transition.
You were great.
Everything was
great
seamless.
Sponsors. Yes.
Brotherton Cadillac and Shoreline, Brotherton Cadillac and Brotherton Buick GMC in Renton. When you see Brad Brotherton, ask him who he wants to be the next Cougar coach. He'll have an opinion for you. As a family-owned dealership with deep roots in the community, Brotherton Auto is more than just a place to buy a car. They'll be your automotive partner for life, committed to exceeding your expectations. So visit them in Shoreline or Renton or at brothertonauto.com. Jason Puckett has been to the Angry Beaver in Greenwood, and you must go tonight and ask Matt, as I've told you over and over again, ask him for a free shot of Jägermeister. Tell him it's on the house, that Jim at pucksports.com said that you get a free shot. So take him up on it. Go watch the Kraken tonight. They're going for 6 in a row tonight. I think it's 6 in a row, right?
That's 6 in a row. That's not a good streak.
Well, it's a streak. You can watch it at the Angry Beaver and get the best brisket in town and get yourself an Old Crimson for $5 and support our NIL efforts to keep our players. Okay, do that. And then one more thing. Yesterday, you know what I was doing? I went to Fred Meyer because I was looking for more Christmas lights. And it's hard to find Christmas lights now. They're getting short on them.
Yes.
So I thought, man, if I could just have Brian Turner from Bright Owl Lighting come and do the lights for me down here in Bend like he did for Jason Puckett, my life would be so much easier and it would look so much nicer too. I don't have any lights up on my house, just bushes and trees. Have Bright Owl Lighting do it for you. Give them a call for a free estimate, 360. It's not too late. It's not too late. My neighborhood's lame. I'm looking around. I have the best display in the neighborhood right now because there's a bunch of lame Christmas people around here that aren't putting lights up. It bothers me. I'm like, I said to Kathy, I go, what the hell, man? It's Christmas season. So get in the festive spirit, 360-675-2034 or visit brightowllighting.com.
Jim Moore, as you have become the president of Let's Bring Slick Rick to Pullman, you're leading the charge to bring Rick Neuheisel.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, we have a bet. If Rick Neuheisel is hired, I guess in some capacity. Did we ever clear that up?
Oh, come on. Now you're going to fudge on it a little bit?
What if he's hired as the CEO and not the head coach? Whatever. I don't care. He's hired at Washington State. It does not matter. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever capacity he's hired.
Okay.
Jim gets a week-long stay in not Mexico or Hawaii or
I asked for those places.
Well, those were aggressive.
I asked for Tahiti and I asked for New Zealand.
Jim wants to go to Ritzville, Washington, where he'll play golf. He'll stay at the Days Inn. He'll eat at Zips. Yeah. And again, that's where he would like to at some point retire, which he's retired now. And I guess you could. Why didn't you just move to Ritzville in the first place?
Kathy doesn't want to go there. There's a good diner there too. I think is it Matt's? Kind of out by the freeway. Yeah, so a good diner. There's got to be a couple of good dive bars there.
Of course there is.
I just like small town America. Okay, is that okay? I mean, Ritzville is small town America.
It is. Well, as you being the president of the Rick Neuheisel fan club, here's what I can tell you the very latest, because here's where we stand with Slick Rick, old Slicky Ricky Neuheisel, a man that was checking his phone on a courtroom stand when he was suing the University of Washington, probably placing
a beautiful moment,
placing another bet in his Calcutta League. Now he's been a little vague on this one. As Rick Neuheisel, he's been a little vague on who he has spoken with at Washington State. I can tell you that he has had a direct conversation with Harlow, the interim athletic director at Washington State. Now, he's been a little vague. He's kind of danced around it, but he has talked to him. He has not talked to the president. So what does that mean? I don't know. Other than
I know why you bring it up. What are we doing? Why are we picking nits here?
I'm just passing it along. Because he kind of he's done other interviews.
You're going to lead your podcast with?
Well, with information that nobody else has. Yeah, I think that's usually pretty good.
Okay. You think some listener sitting there going, "Hey, honey, Neuheisel, he talked to Harlow, the interim guy that none of us know who the hell he is."
But none of us know him. I'm just saying that he has talked to him. Well, he himself did an interview and said he hasn't talked to anyone directly. So I'm telling you, he has talked to him directly.
You're saying he lied.
He
You're
worded
saying he lied. Right?
I didn't say that. You said that.
No, I did say that.
And Rick Neuheisel would never be someone that had ever lied before in his life. Right?
No. Okay.
Okay. So I'm just telling you. I
think it's a fib. Maybe.
I'm telling you, he has spoken to Harlow directly.
All right.
Okay. He has not talked to the president. President comes out. She's done an interview. She just did an interview today with Coug fan. I love when everyone does an interview and they've got to title it as fucking exclusive. It's not exclusive. It's just not. She's doing a car wash of interviews. So are they all exclusive? Are they exclusive interviews when someone interviews someone and nobody else interviews the person? Okay. Anyways, she has said.
Does that bother you?
It is the framing of the words bother me. Big, bold, exclusive. That she wants someone, she said to Coug fan, contemporary. That would seem to rule out Rick Neuheisel. if you want to take it that way. She laid out, I think, in more detail today with Coug fan just about what she wants and with the new head coach. So just giving you the latest. The fact that she hasn't talked to him, I don't know. Read into that whatever you want. Are they doing him is Harlow doing him a courtesy by just, hey, he's shown interest in it? Yeah, I'll talk to him. But does it get past Harlow? First of all, John Harlow is not making the hire at Washington State. Betsy Cantwell, the president, is making the hire. So, yeah, I would read into it if she hasn't talked to him yet.
Okay.
Because he's not making the hire. Do you think he is?
Okay. I think he's contributing. I don't.
Would that be bringing her the coffee?
I think I'm kind of like you. I'm not real excited about Betsy Cantwell and John Harlow leading up the search. Are you? And I don't really have a whole lot to base that on, other than this guy being an interim guy that we don't know all that much about. And maybe he's terrific. Maybe he is.
Let me give you
maybe me just being cynical.
Let me give
Betsy,
you.
I'm not so sure about her. Although she did, while she was at Utah State, they hired Bronco Mendenhall.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I would say that she took a sitting coach away from a school who's a good coach and hired him. And Bronco Mendenhall, we all know he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, he is.
So
he is.
I guess that would be one feather in her cap that she would have, certainly over Harlow. Now, can she do it again? Who knows? We'll see. Okay. I don't know what she wants. I can tell you what she's telling people what she wants. I mean, she wants, again, someone that can not only just win on the field, they got to win an NIL. I mean, all the things that you would normally think that she would say or anybody would say for this job. But also, I think it's got to be someone. I'd be curious to see what they can do contractually, because I'd love to know what they're going to do. I think she definitely wants someone that's going to be around for another 5 years, at least, because that TV contract's going to be up in 5 years or 6 years. I think she would like that person to be there. And then when whatever happens in this new TV contract, do we get a whole new set of realignment? Does that happen? You put yourself in a position, to move around. I don't know what you could put in the contract that would bind someone there longer. I would think if you could do something to a contract, that would have already been done by now, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Okay, now you're not a fan in any shape, form, way of Rick Neuheisel being the next coach at Washington State. I think you've stated as much. Am I correct?
Yes. I would like, as I told Canzano yesterday, if he wanted to come in and be the CEO of the football program, like the just lone athletic director of the football program, not everybody else. Like, he's not dealing with volleyball and he's not dealing with, girls soccer and all that stuff. But he wanted to lead the football program. I'm all in. I'm not on board with the idea of him coming in, coaching, and then handing it to his kid.
Okay.
I'm not on board with that.
And I heard the interview yesterday, and it was a very good interview. I enjoyed it. But you also are on record saying that it's a 0.0% chance that Neuheisel will be the next coach at Washington State. And yet the legendary John Canzano, and down at the game in Portland, that guy, even though he covers college football and has inside sources, he explained all the different reasons. He laid out a great case for Rick Neuheisel to be the next coach at Washington State. And he even said, again, this is an insider with actual information and sources. He even said that Rick Neuheisel has a 25% chance of being the next coach at Washington State. And yet,
but that was his opinion.
It doesn't,
that wasn't
so to
based,
speak. Huh?
That wasn't based in a fact. That was just his opinion.
Okay, fine.
It's different than a fact.
Touche, because I said that to you the other day about something. Yeah. But Neuheisel doesn't move the needle for you. Neuheisel moves the needle. I know that for a fact. If you look anything written about Rick Neuheisel or said about Rick Neuheisel, there are comments all over the board. You write about Brent Vegan, it's like, okay, God, he had a good record at Montana State. Yeah, player pushed him the other day. Whatever. Sounds good. But no one gets excited about Brent Vegan. Now, you could argue that those comments aren't all positive for Neuheisel, because they're either, man, this would be a home run hire, or what are we doing here? Why are we even having his name in the pool?
Right.
So there's that polarizing thing about Rick Neuheisel. And I will acknowledge that I think I wrote today at Jim Moore, the go-to guy.substack.com. If you want to be a free or a paid subscriber, hey, it's the holiday season. Why don't you give me $5? $5 a month for this kind of content?
$5 so I can go down and get a double Jack on the Rocks.
I don't have, Southside Pub, $6.75. I just had one the other day.
$6.75
for a Jack Daniels on the Rocks.
God, Bend is getting more expensive.
Not too bad though. $6.75 for a Jack on the Rocks.
Yeah, it used to be like $3.
Yeah. So I'll give you the latest information. It's a one-stop shop for Rick Neuheisel. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
At my Substack.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this?
Comes with lotion.
Okay, I will acknowledge. I wrote today that we could be. I'm going to bring out some baseball stuff here because I know we're talking to Divish at 10:30. It could be a mammoth home run. It could go 500 feet if we hire Rick Neuheisel. He could be celebrating like Randy Arozarena going around the bases, or he might look at a called strike 3 that's right down the middle, and we're going, man, why didn't you swing at that? And he's going back to the dugout like Mitch Garver. It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be in between. It's not going to be a shot to left center. It's not going to be a solid single or an infield hit. It's either going to be the 500-foot home run with Rick Neuheisel, or we're going to look back at it and go, Jesus Christ, that was fucking stupid what we did hiring him. Okay? Now, I know that. I understand that. But we're at a point where we need to roll the damn dice. And I'm standing at the table and I'm thinking, hey, man, it's my turn to roll. Let's go. Let's go. I don't want to hear about Brent Vegan or Johnny Nansen being a Coug or any of that. The guy that moves the needle the most and where we need to move the needle the most is just one thing. We need more money. Money, money, money. Look at Texas Tech. Last year, 2024, we beat the hell out of them at Martin Stadium. You know what? They beat the shit out of us this year because they had the oil guys come in and just drop a bunch of bags of money on them. And look at them now.
We didn't play them this year.
No, I said if we did play them.
Oh.
If we did play them this year, they beat the hell out of us.
Well, they also last year where they were out without their best player. But continue.
Whatever. Go ahead and water it down. Rain on my parade. Feel free. It's okay. No, I'm just saying. And so the number one thing, like, let's say we can agree. If we want to agree that Brent Vegan's a better coach than Rick Neuheisel, okay, fine. But Rick Neuheisel is going to be better at getting us money. We need money. Money, 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 money. We're always talking about 1890 club collectives. We need money to pay our players. And so a coach is only as good as his players. Okay. So Vegan, if he comes in and, only gets, a bunch of 2 stars or whatever, he's not going to be that great a coach. Neuheisel might not be that great a coach, but if you give him some 4 stars we're paying hundreds of thousands to, he's going to be a hell of a coach.
So how much money do you think when Rick Neuheisel, how much money do you think when Rick Neuheisel is announced as the head coach? How many millions do you think rolls into the Cougar Collective?
I don't know, but it's going to roll a lot more than if Brent Vegan is the coach.
Okay. You think substantial?
Would you agree with that?
Oh, I think that you would get more interest in Rick Neuheisel, sure.
But you might also, you could contend. I'll talk for you, okay? I'm going to pretend I'm you for a second. You might get people who pull out of the collective and don't donate because they're upset about Neuheisel being the new coach.
I'm not sure. I don't know if you get people to pull out, but I think that the way that he can speak and talk and articulate is certainly going to be better than any of the candidates that they have. But I want to ask you being an alum and a fan, what is important to you? Is important to you winning the podium or winning on the field?
Both.
Well, just you have to pick one.
But I think, okay, Puck, here's the thing.
What trumps in it? I just want to know what trumps winning on the field
does. Winning on the field does.
Then why would he be a serious candidate in your mind?
Because I think to win on the field, that money is the number one thing over all else. Like, these kids aren't coming to Washington State going, these guys like to talk about culture and atmosphere and all these foundational things they're doing to build a program, or gee, you want to major in journalism? Well, we got the Murrow School of Communication here, young man. It's money, money, money. It's money. Okay. And so in order to have what you're talking about, a winner on the field, we need large amounts of money. And I don't personally feel like the 1890 club is going to be able to do that with little guys like me giving $200 a year. So we need the guys in Seattle that were playing in the March Madness pools with him to help us out here. That's what we need. We need the big donor guys like Texas Tech got. We don't need these nickel dime guys like you and me.
But do we have what I want to know, and you probably don't know this, maybe no one does. Who are those big donor guys in Seattle that are connected to Washington State that have not been donating?
Because like I said, I don't think you listened to me when I talk, like on Monday when I said this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's just like I said, people want to support you because it's your venture here at Puck Sports. And maybe this is a bad analogy here, but if I'm a friend of Rick Neuheisel and he's trying this thing out at Washington State, I'm kind of going, you know what, Rick, I like what you're doing, man. You're trying to revive your career. And yeah, I've never been a Cougar fan, but I've always been a fan of you. So I'm going to help you out.
So I'm just to help me understand, because I'm not a smart man. I think that's well aware for many people that watch and listen to this. So many of the people that he would know over on this side of the state, many of the people that he was dealing with when he was in the Calcutta March Madness pool, the vast majority of those were University of Washington alumni and donors.
Okay. Do we know that, though?
Well, I'm just assuming that.
Okay.
So if we assume that the large amount of them are donors to that school, what would make you think they would turn around? Because I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, that they're being asked by UW to give a bunch of money to their collective and to their school. So are they then going to say, all right, I'm still going to give to UW, but now I'm going to take a vast majority of my wealth and give it to Washington State? You think that's viable?
I don't have a good comeback for that, but what I would say is that if I'm one of those people and I'm good friends with Rick Neuheisel, I'm thinking, okay, look, it's just like we can donate to different causes if we want. And let's say they donate to Washington because they're big Husky fans. Well, you can make a case if you're them that we're not swimming in the same pool anymore. If we were in the Pac-12 with the Huskies, then I'd be a little torn if I were those guys. But we're in a different league, so to speak. We're still in the Pac-12, but it's a new Pac-12. And so we're not swimming in the same pool. Okay. So there's that. And there's also what I was just saying about, it's my buddy and I'm going to try and help him out. And I want him to be successful over there. I think it'd be kind of cool. Like if quote unquote little brother had some success over there. And even worst case scenario, let's say you're right about that. I think we'd still get money with Neuheisel being in charge over in Pullman, that if we make this, small splash of a ripple with Brent Vegan. No offense to Brent Vegan, because 20 years ago, I wouldn't even bring up Neuheisel. But the way college football is now, I think you have to consider, some guy that's like, hey, man, the Pete Carroll, hey, let's go. We need money. We need money here.
Let's say that
Brent Vegan's not going to move the needle like that.
And I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you that Brett Vegan's not going to move the needle like Rick Neuheisel. What I'm arguing is a guy that hasn't coached for 15 years, who frankly was, again, his record speaks for itself, was not a good coach.
I like what you brought up about Akey and his record at Idaho.
Oh, I don't know. Somebody tweeted. Yeah, it was it Michael Bumpus suggested Rob Akey.
Yeah, Bumpus was suggesting.
I
love Michael though.
He was a great Coug and he's awesome and he does great work on the air. But if you really are stumping for Rob Akey, then
I stumped for Akey for one game. That game that they beat us.
He's 20-50. His record's 20-50.
Yeah,
he couldn't win at Idaho. He did not win at UCLA. They've got better resources at UCLA. He's a Southern California guy. And again, he had 3 seasons as a real good coach. 2 of those came in the first 2 years at CU. We've gone all through this. And then 1 year came with, again, Jim Lambright's players. It doesn't give you pause. And maybe it does. And you'll say, but you're willing to take that pause. That you're going to hire him and then bring in his kid to coach, who's 33, has 0 experience being a coordinator or a head coach, never had an official title as coordinator, an official title, and we're just going to hand the reins to him. Now, how does he build his staff? Who's coming with him? What players are coming with him? Because they don't have any players they can bring along. They don't have a team. So when all these South Dakota State guys, recruits and players bolt for Iowa State, what are we left with? You're probably just saying
that'd be a reason why we'd hire Vegan then?
Well, I think it makes someone like him attractive because, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in this world of college athletics, you hire someone that brings along some players. But I acknowledge you hire Vegan, he may not be good. And I get people being hesitant to hire someone like that. But it gives me pause. I mean, the last two kind of Midwest guys that you went after, Jake Dickert, although you didn't really go after Jake Dickert. I mean, those circumstances are different, right? He's the defensive coordinator. He gets the job because Rolovich, got in trouble and whatever. And we don't go through all that. And then he gets the gig and what have you. Now, this past year with Jimmy Rogers, yeah. So you're dipping back into the Dakotas for a guy that, may have his sights. What's his dream job? I don't know. Is it Iowa State too? I mean, who knows? Who knows what his dream
again,
job?
Puck, I just think Vegan, say 10 years ago, would have been the far and away top choice. Especially, and we talked about this. We love the fact that when he was in the Oregon State search, that he basically said to him, whether he was the top candidate or not, I have no idea. But he didn't want to leave his kids during the middle of the playoff run.
For sure.
So that speaks to integrity, and that's the kind of thing we want in our next coach. But it's not 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's now.
Okay.
And the way college football is now, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So yeah, am I overly fond of Rick Neuheisel? Yeah. And part of that stems from when I was a columnist at the PI, that guy provided content like no other. It was just, he was unstoppable that way. And for a columnist, it was like, thank you, Jesus. But it's just, we need money again. And so we need to have a splashy guy. We need to have bells and whistles guy.
How much money?
How much do we need, flash over substance? I think we need substance, and I think there's enough substance there with Rick Neuheisel. But boy, you get all kinds of flash with that guy. You get national exposure with Rick Neuheisel, just like we had with Mike Leach. Okay. And it's not like the guy doesn't know football and still doesn't have connections. It's sure he hasn't coached for 14 years, but do you forget how to coach? I bet you all those guys up in Coeur d'Alene, Mike Price, Dennis Erickson, Jim Walden, I bet they can still coach if they, got a job. They could do it. Yeah. So
I think it's I don't know. We go round and round. I think it's a massive risk. I don't think it's going to happen.
But what if it doesn't pan out? Okay, take me to the worst case scenario.
Well, the worst case scenario is that it's an unbelievable disaster. And you are stuck now. How many years do you stay with him? And you are stuck with middle to the road in this new Pac-12.
Okay,
that's not good enough. And one thing I'll push back a little bit on the money is this. And I have no evidence of this. I just don't think the checkbooks are going to be spiraling open if he's hired. I don't know how. I don't know really the cachet of Rick Neuheisel, how much that actually really carries with donors. But maybe I'm wrong.
You know how much it needs to open?
Yeah. How much?
It needs to open. Let's see. Open more. Needs to open wider. Than the other 7 schools in the Pac-12.
What's the budget that you think they need to be at? Cantwell has talked about
no idea.
5 million, 10 million.
Yeah, no idea. But we need to be on top in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to beat those other 7 teams to have a shot at beating this college football playoff. I mean, that's another discussion we can get into. Sure. I think it's ridiculous. And I heard Canzano saying that it's a good for the sport that James Madison and Tulane are in there. But in nobody's mind, no one's mind, does anyone think that those 2 teams should be in there over Notre Dame or Vanderbilt or whoever else you want to name that didn't get in there.
Here's where I would argue, I think at a school like that, which again, I agree with you, they've got to increase their NIL. someone and I'm glad someone just brought this up in the chat, so I'll promote it. This Joel says, I bet Boise State spends between $7 to $8 million. I have the figure in front of me. It's not even close what Boise State spends. According to this story that came out of, the Boise State Journal, Sports Illustrated has this, Idaho Statesman. Idaho Statesman's the one I guess we'll give the credit to. $2 million.
Boise State?
Yeah. $2 million. So again, is Boise State successful on the football field because they have this outlandish NIL deal that's allowing them to get all these players that nobody else can get? Great facilities. Listen, Boise's a great of this new world Pac-12, probably the best place to live. Great, that's a good recruiting pitch to someone. They certainly aren't outspending people. $2 million?
Wow, I thought you were going to say like 10.
No.
So what did Ashton Genty get last year then?
Probably all $2 million. Probably all of it.
But you could also say that Boise State isn't what Boise State used to be.
Yeah, but I'm just going to read you a quote from their head coach, Spencer Danielson. He said, quote, "I'm never going to try and force young men to be here. I'm not going to use money or try to make a kid come here. That's not what I believe in. I want kids that want to be here. I want kids that want to be part of this team. And if they don't, this ain't the right fit for them." Oregon is up there at $23 million. Iowa's around $10 million. Danielson went on to say in the story from the Idaho Statesman, again, which puts their NIL fund at $2 million, which, again, I think most people think they're spending $10 million. He said, quote, "For us, it's not about talent acquisition. It's about talent retention. We've got really good football players on this team, and when they do what they're supposed to be here, I want to take care of them and pay them everything that we've got." He's more about finding guys. They retain them. Again, the buzzwords, culture, all that stuff, and they usually don't lose guys because of it. And again, I don't know if that's the exact model that they want to use, but I also don't think that Washington State is in this position to be like Texas Tech and spend whatever they spent last year. And again, I always talk about like this. We talked a little bit about changing their offense over the years. If Boise State can run something, away that they have over the years, why can't Washington State? So if they're spending that amount of money, why can't Washington State? To me, it's about finding, again, the right guy and however long that guy is going to be there. Can't get caught up in like, well, he's not going to be here for 5-10 years. I just didn't think that. I never thought Rodgers was going to be there forever. I just didn't think he was going to leave after a year.
Why I thought he would be there long term is because I thought if a guy like him could be happy in South Dakota State, what is it, Brookings or wherever the hell they were, or they are, if he could be happy there, then he could be happy in Pullman for a long time too. That's what made me feel like he was going to stay a long time.
Right.
But Puck, I think this is a nice thing that you're laying out for people, but I'm picturing myself. No, it is. And that's, it's fairy tale type stuff. And I like
Neuheisel.
And yeah, I like it, and at the end you go, we lived happily ever after. But I honestly, if I'm a kid, and we've talked about this before, as much as we love Washington State, say you and I were football players instead of just schmoes who were students, going to school and partying too much. And if Arizona State had offered us $500,000 and Washington State didn't offer us anything, we would have been off to Tempe so fast, our heads would have spun, right? So whatever Danielson's saying about Boise State, I think it's great. And boy, speaks to the kid if he decides to stay there when, let's say, Iowa State's offering him $500,000. I think most of those kids, or a lot of those kids anyway, are going to be leaving Boise State to go play where they can get more money. Culture be damned. I
don't know. I'm just offering up though, is that really hasn't happened to them. Boise State hasn't been hit by a huge transfer portal. They just haven't. And for whatever reason, I don't know. It's not like I'm laying out that they're spending a bunch of money to retain them. I just gave you the numbers. They're not spending a ton of money to retain these guys. Again, whatever he's doing.
Maybe they're not wanted that much elsewhere.
Maybe not, but look at their track record. They were in the college football playoffs last year. What's their record this year? And they won their 7 straight conference title, and people are like, disappointing season.
Well,
Sign
because
me up for that.
The standard at Boise State is so high.
Yeah, right. But they've been able to always have the right fit there for a coach, and been able to, once that coach leaves, go someplace else. They've replaced him with another guy that fits that same mold. I don't know. Is Vegan that guy? Maybe, maybe not. Somebody else, if they go down the route.
You're banging the drum for Johnny Nansen, but it doesn't sound like
I'm not banging the drum for him. I'm offering it up. Like, here's a guy that apparently wants the job, or at least has expressed interest in it. I think you'd listen to all of them, don't you? I think that Cantwell should sit down with Neuheisel. I think she should hear him out. You should hear out everybody.
If she sits down with Neuheisel, he's getting the job.
Okay. All right.
It'll be Barbara Hedges all over again.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give President Cantwell maybe a little bit more credit than Barbara Hedges. just a little bit. It's why I don't think he'll take the job. I think he wants to sit out.
What would you think about? Okay, I think you'd be okay with this. How about Neuheisel as CEO and Vegan as the coach?
Sure, but that's not what's happening. That's not the deal. The deal for Neuheisel is that Jerry coaches the team. That's the deal. You want me, you get Jerry. And all I hear about people that push back on, and again, I'm not saying they're incorrect, that would push back on Nansen or someone like that, or even Luke Falk to a degree. They have as much experience as Jerry Neuheisel, which is 0. So again,
I understand everybody wanting a Coug, so they understand what it's like to be there in Pullman, and
I think
having be a forward player, they know what it's like. But that shouldn't be an overriding factor on who the next coach is.
I agree with you. I totally agree, because that guy could come. I mean, Paul Wolf was an alum. Paul Wolf was a disaster, an absolute disaster, and I think people were excited.
I think it might have been okay the next year if he'd stayed.
I don't know if it would have been okay. I mean, they just were a disaster. I didn't
know we eat our own. That was one of the greatest quotes he ever had.
But Nansen, I don't know. He's 51. He's never been a head coach. He's been a coordinator his whole life. I think it's appealing to a lot of people who are, I think, wounded, I think, taken aback by all of the coaches leaving. And I think there's this group of alums who care a lot about the school, that feel that they can help out and that they want to help out and they want to reach out. And if they, if they go through the process and they deem them as the guys to lead the program, then I think it would help. I think it'd be great to have some former alums on the staff. If Luke Falk would be a part of it somehow, it doesn't sound like feels like it's like, I want to be the head coach. If not, then I don't want to do anything, which I would really push back on that. I mean, that's kind of I don't understand that thought process. If you want to give back to the school, take a position of any position just to give back and then work your way up, to that position. So if it's head coach or bust, I think a little bit for Luke Falk, his interest to me is a little disingenuous.
Yeah. I don't know about I appreciate what Luke said in his letter and all that, but I think part of it for me too is the whole thing. I'm just so disgusted with what's happened to college football, and it's become such a joke that you can either, if you accept it, then let's just acknowledge that the whole damn thing's a joke, and let's bring in Neuheisel and roll the dice. So that's part of it for me. The other thing I would say, Puck, and this might, I'm really bad at analogies and comparing things, but I'm going to bring you into this. Like people, we want our kids to do this. We want our kids to take risks. And I want my school now to take a risk. And yeah, it might not work out, but go ahead and hire Neuheisel and let's see. And then if it's, in shambles, we'll pick up the pieces a couple of years from now. But at least you took the risk. And what I'm getting at with you could have stayed at KJR and you didn't, and you rolled the dice and you said, you know what, I'm going to take a risk here on my own and I'm going to go for it. And here you are. Look at you now. Things are going great. So again, might be a bad analogy, but sometimes when people take huge risks, it pays off in a big way. And I think we could if we hire Rick Neuheisel.
I think the biggest difference is that the impact that someone like me or in that similar position, the impact is 3 people, 4 people. It's not an entire university that's hemorrhaging with money. That's the huge difference. You can't have someone
we've talked about the worst case. Do you think it really would be you think it could be a worst case if he comes in?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to look at it both ways. It could be an absolute disaster if he comes in. I mean, 100% disaster. And I think it's...
No, you're right. It could be. You're right.
One of those things that he comes in and again, it's how do you build a staff? What people would come there? And, you're poaching UCLA players now. I mean, who are you bringing? They're
why not?
Because they're at UCLA.
Yeah, I know, but they might love Jerry Neuheisel so much that they're going, hey, you know what? What the hell?
But again, why are they coming here? They're coming here for money. Money. And again, unless you're going to tell me they're going to raise $5 million minimum once they announce him, then and just buy a team next year.
Who are you going to be more excited to play for if you're a UCLA kid? The coach that's coming over from James Madison, or Jerry Neuheisel, who you know more about?
I would think the guy from James Madison,
who has
a track record of success and winning, who's young, has a fun offense.
Yeah, but he's not producing viral videos from the locker room.
You mean the one victory that Jerry Neuheisel had this year where he was thrown in the air?
I just, what I'm picturing right now? I'm picturing Neuheisel winning, the Pac-12 championship and standing up there with a podium and, Scott Van, what the hell's his name again? ESPN, Scott Van Pelt, standing up there, handing him the trophy, confetti and everything. I'm also picturing myself being at the Days Inn, laying back on the bed, my 2 dogs up on the bed with me and, just enjoying, room service. I don't know if they have it at the Days Inn, but I'm going to be charging out my ass that little bill. I'm going to run it up, and you're going to write it off. You're going to write it off. Puck Sports will write it off on the taxes. Yeah. And then your accountant will go, hey, what's this expense that you had? There's a bunch of diner bills and dive bar bills from Ritzville, Washington. What the hell is this all about? And then you're going to have to say, well, I made this bet with this guy, and I thought for sure I was going to win. And yeah,
I lost.
It's going to be beautiful. I'll be, shooting selfies, by the water tower, out on the golf course, from the dive bar, from the diner.
Is this the one bet you'd like to win the most?
Yes. If I see, I swear to God, and I've said this a bunch of times, I'll go to church if the Cougs win, that kind of thing. I haven't really followed through on that, but I live on Creekstone Loop down here in Bend in this neighborhood. Yeah. I will run naked around this whole loop if Rick Neuheisel is hired.
I think that's what people would like
to see.
No,
they wouldn't want that. No. And I'm sure the cops would be called and everything, but I would be so, if I want to see Pete Thamel. Actually, I told Neuheisel, I want to break the story.
Oh, okay.
I want to be some white-haired guy on Substack. I want to see the little ticker on the bottom of ESPN as first reported by some, white-haired oldster in Bend, Oregon on Substack. Rick Neuheisel is going to be the new coach at Washington State. I basically, begged
what did he
him
say
to give
that?
me the scoop.
Why have you reached out to him?
He told me I'd be in the loop, that I'm on the inside. I'm expecting this to happen.
Have you reached out?
There'll be reporters, there'll be talk shows calling me all over the place, from around the country, like wanting me on and I'll just tell them it's my reporter chops that got me the scoop, because I'm still working hard, even though I'm retired, just some bullshit like that.
Have you reached out? Well, do your headphones work? I always wonder sometimes. Have you reached out to him?
Well, yes, my people have contacted him. My people being me.
What has he said?
He hasn't said much lately. He loves the idea of he and his son going to Washington State.
Why can't you get him on? Why can't you land him on the show?
I don't know. He's what do they call it? He's ghosting me now.
He's ghosting you, huh?
Yeah. He did though mention, he found it interesting that I live in Bend and he has a membership at Pronghorn and that he would give me a call the next time he's in town.
Okay.
So I could be teeing it up with him. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're tight that way.
Mm.
And I think he's kind of laying low right now because that means that
laying low. He's going on every other show in the world.
No, he went on that one show that you don't want me to mention because he had a weekly thing with them. And so it was his day to do it.
He's going on everywhere, but you can't land him. What kind of relationship do you have? You can't get him on.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Lord.
You asked me to ask him, and I followed through, and he hasn't responded to me. I sent him the story today that I wrote on Substack.
And what'd he say? He didn't respond to that.
Nothing. Well, let me check. Yeah.
Ryan Divish right now, I don't think is going to be able to join us. He is circling above SeaTac because his plane hit a bird currently.
His plane hit a bird?
His plane hit a bird. So he's circling.
Must have been a big one.
Yeah, circling and circling and circling. So I don't know if he's going to be able to make it on the live show that we'll have inside pitch coming up later this afternoon. But I got things to do, Divish, so make it on time.
God, that sucks.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no Rob Staten today, by the way. Rob is on vacation with his family's in Disney World. He did offer to come on, and I know he does other media stuff, and I think he's gone on there, but I'm like, hey, man, I'm not going to make you come on when you're on vacation. You're good. Those other people can make you come on, but I'm like, you enjoy your time with your family. You're good. So we'll have Rob on next week.
Okay.
What else do we
want? So you telling
to...
people they're stuck with me for another few minutes? Or
no, you can leave anytime. I mean, you've checked out minutes ago, so.
No, well, some days I check out, but today I'm checked in.
You're checked in. You're all in. You can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the Rick Neuheisel press conference. It'll
be a doozy.
If I see that pop up on my phone, that he's been hired, I'm turning my phone off.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm leaving.
I know you've been sitting here the whole time saying why it's not going to happen. Then if it happens,
it's just an opinion, but it's not who. If let's say he gets hired, I'm going to be like, oh, I hope they lose, so he's terrible. Support him, and hopefully he's got the best thing is whoever gets the job that they have success. That's all I want. That's why you don't get caught up in all the other stuff like big personalities, all of that. And I get it. We've had big personalities over there. Mike Price was. Jim Walden was. I mean, Jim Walden was a great personality. I would just say, and you and I both love Jim. We do.
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. What did he really win, though?
Oh, come on.
Okay. But just be honest. What did he really win there?
Want to mention that Jim Zorn doesn't belong in the Ring of Honor, too? See how that goes?
I think that's everybody knows that he doesn't belong.
Oh, come on.
You know who I say that?
Everybody does not know that.
You know who I say that to that gets really upset?
Steve Largent.
Condota.
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah. Condota doesn't like it.
Oh. Yeah, well, don't piss off Bob Condota. Is there a better reporter in town? I mean, come on. Bob Condota with the hoodie and everything. Hey, look. Hey, Bob, look. I got a hoodie on today in your honor.
Jim Walden's overall record at Washington State. He went to one bowl game. It was 44-52.
Yeah, we lost that bowl game to BYU. Jim McMahon was the quarterback, but BYU was favored by 3 and we lost by 2, so we covered. Okay,
there you go, perfect. So 9 seasons, he had 2 winning seasons, and he was 28-39 in conference play. Again, my point is, we all love Jim Walden. He's great personality, all of it. But at the end of the day, was Jim Walden a good coach? I mean. I just think it's, under the circumstances.
Ironically, he went to Iowa State too.
He did. And he was terrible at Iowa State. Eric never had a winning season at Iowa State. You know that?
I won't stand for any criticism of Jim Walden.
I'm just
And how about post-career, what he was like with Bob Robertson in the booth?
It was great.
Those two together. We were so shitty, but you would listen to the broadcast anyway because you knew that they were going to be funny.
Yeah, and I just think that to me with Neuheisel is just a little bit buyer beware. Is that, yes, would it be great and would it be entertaining and all that? Of course, it'd be entertaining. but I'm not so much about entertainment as I am can just win. Alex Brink did an interview in Spokane yesterday, or I think the day before, and he just nailed it. He goes, what is going to solve everything? And I know you think it's money and others think it's money. Okay, just listen. What's going to solve it is winning. You have to win.
Jesus Christ.
Well, but that's
we win with money now.
Okay.
That's what we're going to win with.
Okay. But that's,
can you pass that along to Alex too?
Sure. But
by
that's
the way, he was 3-1 against the Huskies. So
that's what's going to get people
Hall of Fame
to come back and to be excited about the program is winning. It's winning, not so much money being spent.
Chicken and the egg thing.
But I just would detail
we need the money to win.
But this is not a fan base that spends. It's not. We had to guilt you into spending, and you lost a bet. That's the only way you spent money.
Well, part of that is because I just hate what's going on in college football.
How many other people are out there?
You see what happened to Troy Aikman? You see that Troy Aikman story?
Yeah. So that's Dante Moore, right?
I'm not sure who it was, but
I think it is. I think it's Dante Moore.
Aikman wrote a sizable check to a player, and then the player left to go to another school.
Never got a thank you.
And so Aikman just went, I'm done with NIL. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Because aren't you kind of conflicted with that too?
Of course. I mean, I just think that there's
no rules. I'm alone on this one.
There's no rules and regulations on that. That's why I think people are hesitant to spend. There is no big Washington State oil, tycoon out there that I don't know of anyone that's like that. So I don't think we're never going to be at that. I mean, they want $20 million, and that is a real aggressive figure. I mean, I think settle for 5, maybe 10, and then got to go from there. But
if we ended up getting 10, we'd be on top of the Pac-12.
Well, I just told you Boise State's 2. Right. So yeah,
I don't know what Texas State and Utah State and what they're getting.
Yeah.
But to win, you need money in today's college football.
Again, I'm going to reference Boise State.
Okay. All right.
Boise State would say that's not the case. I mean, to a degree, but yes, you're right. Yes,
we won without money this year. We had a good season without money. You could reference us too.
Yeah, you're right. You do need money, but I guess how much do you need? I guess that would be how much do you need to win in this day and age of college football at that level that they're going to be. I don't know. We'll see what they do. But I'll be excited for you if it does happen because I know how excited you are.
Well, do you think it'll happen this week? I mean, we know it needs to happen by January 2nd, whenever the transfer portal opens.
They've got some not necessarily because they have, I think, even a period after that they get a little grace period. So that's why someone like Vegan, who was unavailable till then, would still be available to them. I mean, I'm going
to correct you. You're not going to be happy for me if Neuheisel's hired.
Sure, I'm happy for you because you'll be happy.
It's going to cost you a lot, though.
It's Ritzville. How expensive is Ritzville?
Well, 7 nights at the Days Inn. That's going to be close to $1,000.
Well,
I mean, it's going to cost you $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah. And I mean, a good person would probably let me out of it, but not you.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
All right. What else do we got? Besides, we spent almost an hour on the stupid Cougs. Grandfather Phillip Rivers is going to come back. Do you think he starts?
I got to tell you something. I know this is a big story to us, what's going on in Pullman, but
this is great.
For me, this is the biggest story in the NFL in a long time, I think. Because when they mentioned Phillip Rivers for the first time as a possibility to play for the Colts, I thought, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome because he hasn't played for 5 years. I can't think of another, and there are probably all kinds of examples that I can't think of off the top of my head, but do you know of this ever happening before, especially at a position like this? I think he's up for, I don't know if he's good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. He probably isn't, but he's certainly a premier quarterback. And didn't we love Phillip Rivers? Because he was always dadgummit and gosh darn it.
I love Phillip Rivers because he was the quarterback on my token Chiefs fantasy football team that had keepers. He was my quarterback for like 12 years. I freaking love Phillip Rivers.
Oh, I love Phillip Rivers. And I also love that when they moved to LA, that Rivers he commuted from San Diego.
Yeah, right. He
great.
Had a
van. Yeah. He really didn't like the idea of moving from San Diego to LA.
Kids, man. Why 10? Can you imagine?
And 10 kids. I love everything about Phillip Rivers, and I know I'm supposed to be a Seahawks fan and root like crazy for the Seahawks and, check out, where they are in the standings and all that stuff. But if Phillip Rivers came back and won that game, I mean, how bizarre would that be?
I would lean towards taking the Colts plus the 13.5 this weekend.
Would you? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, again, like we're talking about hitting home runs and striking out. Phillip Rivers, I think, is either going to be pretty damn good or just like, oh my God, what were the Colts thinking?
I'm watching this, I think, late night on SportsCenter last night. You remember when he played in the AFC Championship game against New England? I want to say it was 2020, 2019.
Yeah, it was really cold.
You remember what he played on?
No.
6 days prior, he had torn his ACL.
Oh, no, I don't recall that. He
played on a torn ACL. They put this humongous brace on it. Now they ended up losing, but this guy is out there in the freezing cold, slinging the ball around, and gave him a fighter's chance to win that game. And I find it funny that that people debate whether or not he's a Hall of Famer, and I just think it's ludicrous.
Oh God, right? he's terrific. When I think of him, I mean, some of those balls that he threw. Yeah. No, and then the kids, everything else about him, and it's going to be hard not to pull for him. And I don't think the Colts are going to. They've signed him. I don't know if he's on the practice squad, but I don't think they sign him to have him as an emergency backup. Because Riley Leonard, it sounds like he's got an injury that he's dealing with. So why not just throw Rivers out there and see how he does? But you can make a case for this is malpractice on the Colts' part because you're pulling a guy off a high school football field. He was a coach in a high school. And then all of a sudden you're expecting him to go against that defense in that stadium.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. I think it's also
fascinating for sure.
I think it's fascinating at his age to come back, his desire to help out a team, his desire to help out a coach that he has a relationship with. I think also the fact that he's willing to come back. And I'm sure the Hall of Fame is important to him, but the second he's on that active roster, now that
delay, another 5 years.
He's got to wait another 5 years. So he's willing to do that, which in kind of a me first culture that we're in a lot nowadays, I think for him to say, no, I'm good. I want to come back and play. Now, maybe he wants to leave because he has 10 kids. The holidays are right around the corner and he doesn't want to be at home. I can see that. I mean, he's a grandfather. I mean, it's just.
Aren't you excited to see how he does?
Yes. I cannot wait to watch the game.
Good or bad. And you really don't want him to do so well that the Seahawks lose, but you don't want him to do poorly. I mean, the human element part of it, you don't want him to do poorly.
Well, I think it's this too with the athlete. I mean, he's clearly ancient in the football age of things, right? He's 44.
Yeah.
Think about it, 44. 44 is nothing.
I guess it was the birthday just yesterday or the day before.
But that's nothing now. I mean, that's not 44 is young. I mean, that's not old. But in that world, it's extremely old. And I think these guys, every time they leave and then they retire, they just miss that moment of playing, being in that locker room, being with their friends and their teammates and their coaches, that competitive juice that none of us will ever know anything about. Not to that level.
No, and nothing ever equals that when you get out in the real world.
That's why they gamble.
You can try and find that. I mean, Wyman used to talk about that all the time, and even into his 60s, he wishes he could still play.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if he can have some old tricks up his sleeve. If Shane Steichen makes him the quarterback, I don't know. Brett Rippon's on that roster. Shadle Park, shout out. Did he go to Shadle Park? I think he did. Boise State. So we'll see if he gets the nod. Winter meetings. Again, Divish was supposed to jump on us with live, but his plane is circling SeaTac, so we'll probably have him later. We'll tape it later. Nothing really to report. Divish and Jude were there all week in Orlando at the winter meetings. Apparently, the Mariners are just kind of stuck on a 2-year deal with Polanco. His agent wants 4. Apparently, the Pirates are being aggressive with Polanco. So if they miss out on Polanco, now I don't know where they turn their attention to. Brendan Donovan's been mentioned as a trade partner. Now, Ketel Marte has been mentioned as well, but as Divish and Jude point out at the Seattle Times, seattletimes.com, by the way, that they're out on Marte. They don't expect anything for Ketel Marte with the Mariners, that the Red Sox and freaking Blue Jays are hot on Ketel Marte. Blue Jays are just freaking getting everyone. Being as aggressive as hell.
Well, I don't know how Mariner fans feel, but I hope that maybe they meet Polanco's demands, even if in years 3 and 4 that he's a shell of himself. Yeah. Because what a factor he was for the team last year. And good for him too, because I know when they brought him back, we weren't all, well, you and I weren't that excited about him coming back from that knee injury. And it showed that really he struggled because of that knee. And that once he was 100% or closer to it, that he was the player that he was in Minnesota. So, and then I'm glad that they didn't do the third base thing. And if they can bring him back, and I think it sounds to me, or maybe it's wishful thinking, that it's a lot like Naylor, where he really liked playing here. And so not necessarily enough to give the Mariners a hometown discount, but the fact that he's played here for 2 years, he knows the whole organization, the camaraderie in the clubhouse. I think that's a reason that he will come back and maybe not want to go to Pittsburgh, because you look at Pittsburgh and you go, man, I don't know if I could play for a losing organization like that. I think I'll go back to Seattle.
Yeah. We do have breaking news from Pete Thamel.
Yeah? Is this the kind I'm waiting for?
29 seconds ago. Let me make sure it's the real Pete Thamel, because I got duped last week with Jonathan Smith. Well, what was I doing? I think I was pumping gas, and I looked at it, and I'm like, it was Jonathan Smith going back. I'm like, well, that's cool. And I did.
That Smith was going back to Oregon State?
Yeah. Breaking news from Pete Thamel. Adam Trick is a defensive end for Miami University. He's entering the transfer portal.
That's all you got?
That's it.
Oh. I thought it was something on some coaching hire. Oh, hey, what about what's his name? Jimmy Rogers.
Jimmy Rogers.
He didn't hire an offensive coordinator named Danny Freund. What does that indicate?
That he probably was going to fire Danny Freund.
Yeah.
Most likely. He hired the guy from the Lions, which goes back to, again, the ripple effect of what he did. And again, I don't know all the assistants that are coming in with him. Doesn't sound like all of them are. And I know it's a job, and they should know what the job is. So I get all that. But here's a guy who, I think the character of Jimmy Rogers has taken a major hit. You leave your alma mater that you've been there for 18 years. You rip apart their football program, by the way, with all their star players. You ask all these assistant coaches to join you from there. Right? Because Freund was with him there. You move them all out there. You move all their families out there. They got young kids because they're younger coaches, all of that. And then not even a year later, you move again, and then you tell some of those coaches, yeah, you're not welcome. It's a rough business, man. It really is. It is a really cutthroat business.
Yeah. Monday we talked about it like a vegan gets a job. I would be completely fine with it, even if it puts us in a bad shape, roster wise, if vegan comes, but his players stay in Montana State.
I get it. I get that sentiment. One other thing I was going to pass on before. So winter meetings. I guess Suarez is being linked to the Red Sox, according to the Boston Globe. And, you are a basketball fan, even though you've turned your back on the sport. You do like basketball. You grew up in this area. You've seen a lot of great talent come through this area. I know this kid isn't a homegrown talent. He just moved here. It's not like watching him up through like middle school and freshman year of high school. And I guess we could later claim him as one of our own. This is very Michael Porter Jr. Like, I don't really claim Michael Porter Jr., so I'm probably not going to claim Tyran Stokes. But I made it out last night, me and the vampire, a buddy of mine, and his kid. to go to drive down to Rainier Beach High School, which is always a fun drive at 5:00 at night in Seattle, leaving Ballard to drive down in the pouring rain and dark.
How long did it take?
And I think an hour and 5 minutes, about an hour.
How's that atmospheric river, by the way? You enjoying that?
Okay, now
you get the mamas and papas out lately, so you could hear California Dreaming, or
not affecting us here in Seattle because you're up, you're elevated a little bit here, so it's not affecting. I don't live by a river, but for those people that do, like in Concrete and like in Snohomish, in Snoqualmie, like those people, I feel for those people. I'm watching these images last night on the news. It's bad. It's
been really, like a monsoon. I saw Snoqualmie Falls.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's just the rivers are overflowing, and I mean, people's homes are getting destroyed. It's terrible. Anyways, we make the drive down there, Rainier Beach, and I hadn't been down to Rainier Beach in a while, to the high school. Apparently, they've done a full facelift on this school. It might be the nicest school in the state. It's unbelievable. It's like,
wow. Okay, how recent is that? Is it like a year?
I think it's they're still doing construction on it, so I think it's not finished. It is unbelievable. And then they have a brand new gymnasium that I don't know who paid for it. I think Jamal Crawford did because his name's on the court. It's the Jamal Crawford court.
Good for him, man.
Dude, Jimmy, it's the nicest high school basketball gym you've ever seen. It's gorgeous. They have a video board.
They have a video board
that does an intro video to the team.
Wow. So were you able to get a ticket and get in right away?
Got a ticket. We got a ticket. We got there about 6:00 for the JV game. Got the end of the first quarter to the JV game. It was already 3/4 full for JV. So we got a seat.
Their JV team would beat some varsity teams, I'm sure.
No, JV team's not good.
The JV team at Rainier Beach isn't good?
No. Because it makes sense. Like if you don't, all those young kids that are on the varsity, like they'll never play JV. Like the JV, it's not. I don't think their JV team's ever really been good because they all just play varsity, and if they don't play varsity, they go play someplace else. Anyways, so watch the JV game. They were playing Blanchette last night. Didn't give Blanchette much of a shot. Well, Blanchette, they played pretty hard though. I'll say that. But so there to watch Tyran Stokes. If you don't know who Tyran Stokes is, he's the #1 recruit in the country that transferred into Rainier Beach. I don't know the particulars of how he transferred and why he transferred and whatever. This kid.
That's not a whatever to me, but go ahead.
Well, I don't know the story. I mean, he's there.
I would like to know the story.
Yeah, well, so would I.
Have Millis get on that. When you talk to him Friday, find out what's going on there.
This kid is amazing.
I saw the highlights.
Did you see the highlights? Did you see the one where he dunked over the kid?
Saw that. Saw him go between the legs on the way up for a dunk.
He went
and he can pass too, just like Jamal Crawford. He can pass.
That's the thing that when we walked out of the gym and we were talking to our kids, and we said, "Well, what'd you guys think of him?" Because it's easy for him. This is the competition's easy for him. And we all agreed the thing that stood out the most, he's a phenomenal passer. Phenomenal. Just like LeBron, eyes in the back of your head. Makes the right decisions. He knows where to go with the ball. It's an interesting.
That's appropriate because that's what stood out to me anyway, and to a lot of people with Jamal Crawford was his passing ability.
On his kid too, JJ Crawford. He's going to be a real nice freshman. This kid is. If you can get out to watch him, you're a high school basketball fan in this state, in this era. Get out and watch him because you're going to tell people. I watched this kid play in high school. Those kids that played him last night, Blanchette, they played hard. They most part didn't play scared, and they're going to remember playing him. They're going to remember what it was like to go up against him. But yeah, he had a breakaway dunk. There's a highlight video out there. I think I retweeted it. He went up and went between his legs in a windmill dunk. Like I've never seen that. Danny Sprinkle was there. He was in attendance. I think I saw Spencer Hawes was there. The lead assistant coach for Kansas was there. It is a must. I mean, there's a former mayor, Bruce Harrell was there. I mean, it's a real, video cameras everywhere. All these recruiting sites are there to watch this kid play. And I just started thinking about you just think about when we're driving home, all the talent that's been in this state. Just all of it. I came up with this list. When you think of these guys of what we've produced in this state, Doug Christie, Jason Terry, Brandon Roy, Zach Levine, Jamal Crawford, Nate Robinson, DeJounte Murray. We mentioned Spencer, Martell Webster, John Brockman, Abdul Gaddy, Casey Calvary, Richie Fromm. I mean, some of these guys didn't do great in the NBA, but great college players. Luke Ridnour, Marvin Williams at Bremerton. You remember him? Went to North Carolina.
Williams,
yeah.
Doug Wren was a hell of a high school player too.
A hell of a high school player. Detlef Schrempf, when he came over to the States, lived in Centralia High School. Joe Harris, Chelan High School. CJ Ellaby, he was drafted, played for the Cougs, went to Cleveland. Matthias Steibel is an Eastside Catholic kid in the NBA. Brian Scalabrine, right? Enumclaw. Jaden McDaniels, Michael Dickerson, Donnie Marshall, Federal Way. Mm-hmm. Tari Eason, Aaron Brooks, Peyton Siva, Will Conroy, Jalen Noel, Tony Roten, John Stockton, Rodney Stuckey. Corey Kispert went to Kings. Of course, then went on to Gonzaga. Adam Morrison, Mark Hendrickson, Mark Pope, Bancaro, Mitch Johnson.
Pope was Newport, wasn't he?
Yeah. Christian Velp.
Centralia too?
And no, I think he was Bremerton.
Was he? Okay.
But it just I just bring that up because there has just been, and I probably missed 1,000 guys. Just a huge, rich tradition of basketball in this state. It's truly remarkable. Did I even say Isaiah Thomas? I didn't mention Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. No, when you put it like that, and to think that the NBA is still not seemingly years away. I don't know what the latest is on that, but it's reached the ridiculous point a long time ago.
I kept you long. Good luck to your Rick Neuheisel. Hope for your sake it comes home.
I don't feel sincerity with that comment, but
you know what? It's not sincere.
I didn't think so.
It's not at all.
I somehow appreciate that anyway, though. Yeah.
I hope you'll lose that bet because it means if you win, I lose a lot of money.
I know I can't really lose though, because if I lose that bet, I don't really lose anything.
I know that was really a poor job on my part of not having anything in return, but that's standard for me.
Well, you thought it was such a sure thing though, but yeah, we'll see how it works out. Maybe by Friday, we'll be talking about Rick Neuheisel as the new coach.
If you want to hear John Canzano's thoughts on Rick Neuheisel, he likes it. It's a part of the Daily Puck Drop on yesterday's show, the audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. If you just want to watch it separately, it is up on YouTube. If you would like to just watch John's thoughts on Rick Neuheisel. All right, we will talk to you on Friday. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Puck, go Cougs.
Go Cougs. There he is, Jim Moore, with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Brought to you by A Clean Streak, Bright Owl Lighting, The Angry Beaver, and Brotherton Cadillac. We will catch up with Divish probably later today, and we'll get that show out for you. Another edition of Inside Pitch with Divish. He was flying back. He was going to join us during the live Daily Puck Drop, but could not because of his plane situation. Everything is good. They hit a bird, and they've been circling over SeaTac as we speak. So we'll get to Divish coming up a little bit later. Want to pass on, I think we did this the other day, but Puck Survivor update. 17 of you eliminated this week. Get your picks in for this week. A big thanks to Sandman Sports. They've got you covered, all things on sports, from analysis, in-depth articles, podcasts, and expert betting advice. So get caught up there with all of those wonderful sponsors there, or wonderful outfit there with Sandman Sports. Get your picks in. Few of you are left. All right, let's wrap up the show with Hey What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Reach out to them at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. We talked a lot about, yesterday, the fit there for Washington State, whatever they decide they decide. I'll flip it back over the Mariners, and we didn't talk a lot about them, but just the update on the winter meetings. And again, we'll have more coming up later when we catch up with Divish that will be available for Puck's Posse members. That will come out later this afternoon. And I think for that one, we'll just make it available to everyone, just because we were going to play it during our live show. The kind of state where they're at right now, can they ill afford to lose someone like Jorge Polanco? I don't think I'd ever get that they can ill afford to lose Polanco. I don't know what their backup plan would be, whether it's Donovan, whether it's Lau there with Tampa Bay, who they've always been connected to. But obviously they need to have a backup plan of what they want to do there. Jorge Polanco, I think, surprised a lot of people. He surprised everybody last year. Nobody, for the most part, no one wanted him back. And to his credit, he put together an unbelievable season. So I do think that he should be up there as a priority. You know, money should not be a factor. Again, it's a sport in which you can spend whatever you want. I'd like to see them run it back with the same players that they have, and to add on to those players to see where they could get to. Jorge Polanco was a huge part of it. And if Jorge Polanco is not back on the team next year, it's going to be a huge loss. So we'll see where Seattle is at right now. They're unwilling to come off that 2 years. Can they at least get to 3? There's probably no way they'll ever get to 4 years. They're not going to cave into the request from the agent to get to 4 years. But can you get to 3 and say, hey, we may not recoup that in the 3rd year, but who cares if in the next 2 years you win a World Series? It doesn't matter. So if I'm the Mariners, I would want them to do everything that they can. And this is amazing to say a year later, everything they can to bring back Jorge Polanco. All right, that's Hey What the Puck, again, brought to you by Restoration One. They're going to let you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Reach out to them, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to Limback Lumber, Georgetown Brewery, as always, Flat Stick Pub for your continued support of Puck Sports and the Daily Puck Drop, and, of course, also Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, find it up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. You may be watching, and that's great. We had a lot of views the last few days talking Cougs, especially the Canzano. It's great. We're over, I think, 5,500 subscribers now. It's great. Can't wait to get to 6,000 as this continues to grow, and it's fun. I can't wait till we eventually get to 10,000. That's going to be amazing. It's just an amazing stat to kind of milestone to hit. But again, a lot of you watch but don't subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps me out. And also, you can check out the Daily Puck Drop and other content at Puck Sports on all podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, you find bonus shows and exclusive content up at pucksports.com if you sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. And, again, pucksports.com will take you there for those added shows like Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish, coming up tomorrow, KJ Arntz with Mitch Levy. We'll see you tomorrow on Thursday's show. We'll include a visit with Mitch. Also, Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!